I know I speak on behalf of the entire cabinet and of millions of Americans when I say congratulations and thank you. You've restored American credibility on the world stage. I'm deeply humbled as your vice president to be able to be here. I'll end where I began and just tell you, I want to thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank you for speaking on behalf of and fighting every day for the forgotten men and women of America.
Joining us now is Sarah Kendzior, journalist and scholar on authoritarian states. And Sarah, you know, people I think are at this point accustomed to the obsequiousness of the Vice President of the United States. Mike Pence talks that way all the time. But I personally was struck even more in a lot of ways by Orrin Hatch. I mean, Orrin Hatch is the fourth in line to the presidency of the United States. He's the president pro tem of the Senate. He's the longest serving Republican senator in the, in the body. He's not a man of no stature. And so for him to prostrate himself the way he has in the last few days to Donald Trump is weird and jarring. What does it say to you?
I think it's in line with what the GOP is doing in general in regard to Donald Trump, which is they start out with a moral condemnation or an evaluation of his cognitive abilities, his ability as a leader. They find him lacking. And then, as time goes on, they join the fray. You see this, I think the most explicit example was actually Lindsey Graham, who you played a clip of in the previous segment. It's really egregious the way that they've around, and I think it's a very bad sign for our democracy.
And Lindsey Graham, to your point, not only has Lindsey Graham turned around from calling Trump a kook to being upset people are calling him a kook, to golfing with Donald Trump and even praising one of his golf courses, which I'm not even sure that doesn't violate some ethics rules. Trump International Golf Club is a spectacular golf course, great day of fun playing with POTUS. You wrote about Lindsey Graham explicitly. He is somebody who has admitted he was hacked by the Russians, who used to have strong opinions about Russiagate. There are innocent explanations for why he's doing it, careerism. What are the not so innocent explanations for why he's changed?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the explanation of, careerism, opportunism. That's a typical aspect of politics, and we shouldn't rule that out because that can go hand in hand with other explanations. But we do know that the RNC was hacked. We don't know what happened with those emails. We know that Lindsey Graham's personal emails were also hacked. And we know that Trump has a long track record of blackmailing and threatening who he sees as his political opponents. That goes back throughout his entire career, especially in terms of his lawyers, whether Roy Cohn in the 1980s or Michael Cohen during the election. And so I think it's possible that some of these GOP players, while they might be greedy and opportunistic, are also being blackmailed or threatened. There's also the issue, I think, of, contamination in the sense of the Russia investigation. We know that there are a number of shady donors, a lot of dirty money, some of it stemming from Russian oligarchs who donated to the GOP campaign, and that certain individuals may not want to be investigated, for their role in taking that kind of money. Lindsey Graham is one of those people, and I think a number in the GOP are worried about that. So yeah, that's an issue of great concern. But I think what concerns me most is that they seem afraid. They seem unable to stand up for themselves. They lack all dignity. Trump has berated them. He's insulted them. He's often gone after their wives and their family members, saying terrible things. They prostrate themselves to them. It's like, what kind of leader are you? What kind of man are you? I mean, that's something that does have me concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah Kendzior, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And up next.